Welcome back. In this tutorial, we explore Ableton 10 and what's new. Now, this is just a mini course. You've already learned how to use Ableton from the previous course, Ableton Live 9. But there are some important updates and some changes that are going to make your life easier, as with anything when it's updated. So I hope you enjoy this mini course and get everything you need out of it. So let's just take a look at the visual side of things and see how Ableton has made things more pleasant for us. For a start, we have this awesome theme. Everything just looks clearer. If I go to my audio effects and drop in a default echo device, which we cover in a later tutorial, you'll see everything looks cleaner. The knobs look cleaner, and this is basically because everything is a vector image instead of bitmaps. So everything just looks nicer. The font looks better. You've got this beautiful blue theme, which is my favorite. Also, if you look at the way Ableton moves now, everything is much smoother. And that's because we're moving at 60 frames a second. Also, if you add a MIDI clip, you'll notice that the notes are the same color. However, should you change the color on a MIDI clip, the notes will also change inside. If I want to drag a clip in, you'll notice that the color runs all the way through the clip. If you're looking for the fades, they now appear in these little boxes here. They no longer are on the right-hand side, and you can fade from left to right or from right to left. One of the things I love is that you no longer have to hit default to get back to where you are. Just double click and it resets the parameter. If you want to delete a part, simply select what you want to delete and hit delete. No need to cut anymore, much quicker. One of the most important features for me is that you can now render to MP3 at a constant bitrate of 320 kilobytes per second. And this is awesome because before we could only export at a WAV file. So if I'm looking to export this, it now gives me the option of a WAV file, an AIF, or a FLAC file, or a WAV pack. For me, there are some speed differences between 9 and 10. I've been beta testing 10 for a while now, and I definitely believe 10 is faster at closing projects. So for those of you who are wondering what's new in the Preferences tab, let's just take a look at the themes. I'm in the Look Feel, and you've got the default one, which is what I'm on now, which is mid-light, but you can go even lighter. You can go mid-dark, you can go dark, and for those of you who don't want to change, you can go back to the original Live 9 skin. I'm going to keep it on the new default because I love that. And of course, you can adjust just like before, color intensity, blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that I love about this is you can name your input and output configurations. So here I've named this mic. And then when I go back to here, now when I drop down this menu, I can see what it is I'm picking. Pretty handy. Let's take a look at the browser and what's going on here. You can have up to 7 different colors going on here. And there's a little edit button here. So let's click on that. And this is actually pretty cool. You can assign anything from any one of these categories, packs, your samples, and assign it a color and put it in one of these categories here. And if you don't want to look at it, you could just untick it, obviously. And if you don't want to look at it, just click Edit and done. And take it out, unclick it, it won't be there anymore. So if I click this, for example, now I've got 2. If I click 3, there we go. Now I've got 3. If you want to assign a color to this, the way to do that is to use your keys. So let's assign something to this. I'm going to use my user library, and what I'm going to do is assign a color to my audio racks because I use those a lot. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make that red. I just hit number 1 on my computer, and now my audio racks is red. And what that should mean is that when I go to here, I can go straight to this folder, which is really, really handy. If I want to clear the color, just press the 0 key and it will clear the assigned color. Single items can also have multiple colors, by the way. Small things that make your life easier. You can also rename these. In Ableton 9, you actually couldn't do that, but here you can rename, which is great. I've got all my packs as per usual, but here it also shows me what I have that's available. Now, I've downloaded everything, so I don't have anything that's available, but if it was, it would show me what they are, and I could install them directly from here. And even if I shut my program off, it'll then resume when I open Ableton again. So that's pretty useful because some of the packs can be pretty big. So another great feature in Live 10 is this. Basically, you can now see the groups in your browser. There they are. So if I drop the main bass on here, there it is, the main bass with its groups nestled inside. Very, very handy. Another thing that makes your life easier is this drop files and devices. Now it's always visible. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's always available to me. Before it wasn't. So one other thing when we're on the clip, if you see that my hand turns into this little bracket, you can drag your clip this way. Another thing that's really great feature that Ableton have done is something called backups. So I've made a little copy of this and I've called this delete and I've saved it there. So it's under my current project. If you look, there it is, delete. And what's really cool about this, if I make a change and then I save this, Command S, it's going to make another backup of it. In fact, it'll make 10 backups of it, which is really awesome. So if I was to do another change, you could see all backups happening here. It's worth noting that if your project's still open and you want to undo anything, the undo history won't be cleared, which means you can undo if you'd like, which is great so long as your project is still open. Obviously, if you close the project and open it up, the undo history is not available for you. What I'm going to do as well right now is I'm going to record this. And if you look now, you will notice that these files are actually timestamped, which is awesome. So before, when I recorded something, all my files didn't have a timestamp. It was kind of a pain to find anything, but now you can look because everything actually has a timestamp on it, which I think is amazing. That's just going to make your life easier. It's the small things, but the devil's in the details, and this will really help us. So a couple of really fun things to look at, some features here with the metronome. If we right-click on the drop-down menu, you can have enable only when recording. That's pretty cool, so let's try that out. Plus, if you want to, you can also change the sound of your metronome now. You can also make your metronome work at different speeds, and that's going to work depending on what time signature you have here, which is really cool. So your metronome can go a lot faster and can go a lot slower. Right, so let's talk a little bit about automation. If I want to automate this kick loop right now, and let's just put a plugin down here, and let's just click frequency. You may go, well, what's going on? I can't see the automation. Well, that's simple. All you need to do is click the A button or this little button up here. Now your automation will appear and the frequency tab is there. Another new feature is that I can double click anywhere and create a breakpoint. Now that is a really great feature. See this little line? That shows you where you're snapping to grid, which is really nice. So not only is this super fast where you can just do whatever you want here and say, I want my automation to be like this, but maybe I want to drag this line here. I can see where I'm putting my automation. Really brilliant, super helpful. The other thing I can do is I can drag my automation as well if I wanted to. Select it all. I can move it, which is just very useful. But not only that, let's say I wanted to move this particular point, and here I have this point at 19.4 kilohertz, and I want to move that over here. It'll show me where I'm moving it, so it ends up on 19.4 kilohertz, wherever it is. So I can keep it at the same place. Really, really useful. And if I want to hide all the lanes, I can just simply click Hide. Stay tuned for our next video, What's New in Ableton 10, Part 2.